No, that's one,
He
I
said
think
he
they're
had it
all
back
1
in
hour.
October, and he said he
Just
still
one.
hasn't got his taste back yet.
Two, yeah.
Or sense of smell, and I guess they kind of linked your sense of smell and taste.
See, my little
But I'm
7-year-old
pretty
grandson.
sure I did
he-
3
he
different
was a
ones.
First grader.
It's just,
see,
I'm
he missed
worried that I
14
did
days
2
of
and then
school because
repeated
he
one of
had-
them because it was so
He been
far.
tested
Yeah.
plenty of time. You had to be
I may
tested
still
to
owe an
let
hour.
The rapid one work. You have to do the 3 days.
Now, do we do
Right.
calendar year
The
or
doctors, you know, he goes
fiscal
straight to
year
DX,
on
and they
the
call
3 hours?
DX said, what's the purpose? You got a kid here that's tested negative, and why wait 3 days, send him back?
Well, if I'll talk to Bridget. If I'm short, I'll get something in right away.
He and I got punished worse than the people that had it.
I believe it.
Stephanie. Stephanie, can you hear? She says she can. Christina, can you hear us? Yes. All right, so we got Stephanie and Christina. We need one more for a quorum.
I don't know if you want to sit there or where you want
That's,
to sit.
that's
Great
fine.
ones is usually here.
Where's our sixth member coming from?
Savings is supposed to come.
Okay.
This place in Prosperity, this McFall must be off of Langford Street once you turn on the Langford.
And what they want to do to it.
Just making it trivial, but
Yeah. Yeah.
and they just, same problem I run into. I copy this over and then unless I look at every word.
Where was it? Okay, right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That should be Prosperity. Yeah, when you reuse the same documents over and over, that tends to happen. So
Hey,
Well, I remember when I was applying, like 25 years ago, I was applying, and I had one college, applying two other colleges. And most places had one position, but SUNY New York had 2 positions. And so I wrote
Christina.
the
Yeah, we got Christina and we got Stephanie. And we're looking
positions you,
One more
or,
person.
something about the positions you have is of interest.
But I got called
Because they were 2 and the others were 1. Well, I'm copying this letter. And
Everybody
then
said yay, hey.
I think I had it in the envelope and I went,
yeah.
they're not gonna like my English very well. And yet, it's so funny, if you read that, you'd say, what's wrong with this person?
Right.
And yet all it is copying the letter.
That's right. That's right.
Doing okay.
Hey, bud.
I'm actually brushing or restudying German right now. I took 3 semesters of it at Clemson and didn't get to fluency, but I was.
Yeah, I did 1 semester of German with Mrs. Melbourne, who was really sweet.
Yeah. Do you remember?
And then
any?
I got the guy.
Yeah.
For the next semester, I said, no, I'm done. I don't have to.
I had 3 different male professors at Clemson. They were all good, but they were different. Well, I mean, each one was a little bit different in the way they taught it.
I'll tell you, she was just such a nice person, and she had lost a good friend in Germany. She was fairly old,
Yeah.
and sang for us one time. Ich hatte einen Kameraden.
I have camaraderie.
Yeah. And I just remember her singing that song, and you want to cry.
Yeah.
She lost a good friend.
Yeah, I'm interested in German because that's where my ancestors are from. They're from Germany.
I got a 12.5%
The first Poland to come to the United States that we have record of was a Hessian.
So
And
the
he was
only
a
value
mercenary
is
to the
blunt.
British in the American Revolution. He was from Hessian.
Shame on him.
Well, evidently when he got here, I guess he flipped over.
Did he get caught on Christmas Eve?
I don't think so, because he ended up settling in Little Mountain, South Carolina. He's actually buried. His name was Johann Heinrich, which translates to John Henry in English.
Yeah.
Johann Heinrich Boland, and back then it was B-O-H-L-A-N.
Now, he didn't run a steam drill, did he?
I have no idea what he did.
Remember? Henry.
Yeah. But he settled in Little Mountain. He's actually buried in a family cemetery plot in my parent in a field in my parents'
It's
backyard.
really great though, to have that, to know, you know, that far back what was going on.
I mean, I think that's so cool. I mean, my granddad actually bought another headstone for him to honor his service. And it has his regiment and everything on it. He was from the Von
We just put them up there, there's the two ladies on the screen.
from Hesse, Germany.
Yeah,
I just
she
think
said
it's pretty.
in
I think it's good to be included with
Yeah,
your
you
heritage
need to be.
and where you're from, if you have access to that kind of information.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm lucky to come from a family that's got good records over the
I go
years.
back to my grandparents who came over from Sicily, on the one side. And then I have the rumors of what went on before they came over, but I don't have anything.
I know for the most part, I'm German, Scots, Irish.
I did find out one thing. My grandmother had a letter from, she had 4 sons. My dad had a bad leg and had osteomyelitis and stuff and operations when he was a kid, so he wasn't in the war. The other 2 were in the Navy. And she gets a letter from Mussolini.
Really?
Literally from Mussolini, signed by Mussolini. One of my cousins had it. But the letter is basically saying how he appropriated the family sulfur line. So apparently there was a family sulfur line.
Wow.
For the war effort. Well, she's got 3 kids with this guy's fighting. So she wrote him back and told him where to put the sulfur and light it. So it was, at least that's the story, but I think that's
Maybe
my
that's
grandmother.
it.
That's pretty
Mr.
incredible.
Abrams is on the way, so we're gonna wait a couple.
5 minutes late.
Yeah, he's always a minute or two, but we'll wait on him. He says a prayer for us. Well, we'll wait.
Put the meeting date right there.
Oh, yeah.
We have to call the road
February
through the
16th.
way it works tonight. Hey, how you doing, sir? Keep me straight tonight with the screen grade.
Under the protocol to have these meetings, before you start chapter, you sort of roll call, just
Okay.
acknowledge who they are here.
Okay.
So, Bridget and Martha, we were planning to do this, Ann's gonna do this, and then when we get here, I don't know, Cheryl, our consultant, is gonna get him over here, because this is the first time we've ever done subdivision.
Okay.
And then I don't know the way into it, and then
I'll open it up for county staff recommendation. Y'all decide who goes, but in just a minute, I was going to basically call the road. And they're mistaken, we'll start.
Oh, Bridget? Did anyone request the plans back, or should we hold on to them for a while?
Just keep 'em.
I'll
We just
keep
don't need
for
to
a
share them
while.
with anybody, do we?
Then I'll try to pawn them off.
I mean, should we shred them or
Good morning, how are you?
we can't bring them back? Okay. I was just gonna burn them so nobody
Oh,
else.
that was gonna be the last one here.
I can just burn, I just don't want anybody else to have access to them.
You doing all right?
Yeah.
I figured I'd just burn them. You gotta burn
All
too.
right. Cut that in half, you got 2 logs for the fireplace. Not a bad idea. I got a table saw, you use over and,
I figured I'd just throw the whole thing in and let burn.
yeah, they'll burn for probably 2 hours.
It'll probably burn for a while. Maybe get some good heat off that thing.
But I hate to burn it, I cannot imagine what it costs to print this. You know, I mean, you do this is a dime, so that's gotta be like $1.
The thing weighs probably
You know, and it's
10
not
pounds.
wrong.
Try not to move up, this is a real simple.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, thank y'all for attending tonight, and, this is the first one we have done with, kind of zooming, with participation from 2 of our commissioners. And I appreciate the county and the county staff in working this out so we could all participate, because this COVID's having a lot of effect on everybody. My last meeting I couldn't attend, my wife and two of my sons had it, but I was living with them and I didn't catch it, so it's kind of weird. It affects some people drastically and other people, if I had it, I didn't know it, so, but that was a month ago, but my wife, so everybody's been touched by this, and I appreciate everybody bearing with us and trying to work this out. One thing we have to do tonight is, since we do have folks here by virtual meeting, we need to basically call the roll to see who's in attendance, and our votes will be accordingly, so everybody knows who did it based on participation. I'm Mike Metz, and I'm here tonight. I'm the chairman. Ms. Christine Hendricks, say hey, joining us by virtual meeting. Mr. Victor, he's here tonight. Miss Betsy Ruth, she was excused, I think, out of town. Mr. David Abrams, he's here tonight. Miss Ann Ward, she is excused tonight. Mr. James Freeman, he's excused tonight. Daniel Boland, our vice chair, he's here. Mr. Bennett Gardner, he's here tonight to my right. Miss Stephanie Wimberly, say hey, wave at us from the screen. So we do have a quorum tonight, so that's good. We can move on with the county's business. Mr. Abrams, would you say invocation for the night, please, sir?
Let us bow our heads, please. Almighty and God in heaven, we come forward today. We thank you for your many, many blessings. We pray, oh God, for faith, health, and strength. But most of all, we pray for your understanding. As we gather here tonight, please guide us and help us in making the right decisions for our county and our constituents and our fellow men. Let us make good decisions, not hasty decisions, but wise decisions, that we may do the work of your name. In Jesus we pray, amen.
Amen.
In our packet, we will furnish our Tuesday, December 15th, 2020 minutes. I hope you had a chance to review them for a little bit, and if are there any corrections, and if not, entertain a motion to approve those. Got a motion to approve, and we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We got two hands. Is that good enough for our virtual meters? I'm glad they can see us and we can see them, so this is working out all right. I'm not necessarily, I like in-person stuff, and it's the big adjustment for me personally as well as sort of professionally. But again, we thank everybody for their effort in doing that. We don't have a public presentation tonight, nor any old business. Our new business, we have a case, is MA0106-16-20, a rezoning request for one real estate parcel totaling 18.19 acres at McFall Drive, Prosperity, South Carolina, to be rezoned from R10 single family residential to R7 general residential. That's tax map number 517-16. I believe that's off of Langford Road. We have staff presentation on that.
Oh, goodness. All right, I don't know if you can see this clearly, but the 18 acres comes along and then goes up, and I've highlighted it in blue. To the north, it is R2 rural and actually in the county. The Prosperity City line runs along the north side of that tract and across and down. There is a... Oh. Okay, so this is the part where the
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I outlined it so that it would be more clear.
So it is in the
It's in the town limits of Prosperity,
Okay.
and that is why it is R10. This is R2 in the county, this is also R2 in the county. This is R10. Over here is in the town of Prosperity, and it is R7, and that is the zoning district that the owners of this land here are hoping to get, is R7. This is so that they can then develop this land by putting in manufactured homes. This is McFall Drive. Comes in and comes down this way. The town of Prosperity is very much in agreement with this being developed. Manufactured homes would fit in very well in this area. And it's 100% of the acreage that they're looking at zoning. Langford Road is, Langford Street, excuse me, Langford Road's in Newbury. Langford Street is county maintained and perfectly adequate for any more traffic than might come. And Fall Drive is actually a county road too, which should be able to handle any more traffic as well.
Do they intend to put a, do they intend to put a road somewhere in there so the people, I mean, they'll have to put some sort of road in there so the people can access?
Fall Drive goes down this far. If they end up developing this, obviously a new road will have to be put in.
Okay.
That's something for the town of Prosperity to handle.
Okay.
They don't have subdivision regulations in the town of Prosperity.
So that plot is located on the border or is within the city limits?
The town limits enclose all of it.
Okay.
And would you indicate again, please, ma'am, the Langford Street?
Langford Street is here.
Okay, it's like almost parallel, okay.
This comes directly off. It has a corner where it comes down here and then goes into North Wheeler.
Could you explain what difference will they be able to do with the parcel under R7 and they could not have done under R10 density-wise or however?
Okay, well, R10 requires 10,000 square feet for a site-built house. R7 requires 7,000 square feet for a site-built house or manufactured home.
R10 would not allow a manufactured home.
That is correct. But all, this manufactured homes all around here.
In the city of, in the town of Prosperity has concurred in this.
Yes.
Any
Anything else?
other presentation from the owner or person? Any other comment from anybody?
I'm the owner, do I need to say anything?
You can if you would like. If you like to, you can sign in, but Miss Ann did a pretty good presentation on your
I
behalf.
just wanted to make sure I didn't need to say anything.
Doesn't have to, no ma'am. All right, do we have a motion to, on this subject?
So moved.
Have a second? We have a first and a second. Do any other discussion? All right, what we're gonna need to do though is to basically, all in favor, say aye. With the two hands from the virtual. That's,
Okay.
any opposition?
Nay.
Nay. Well, the motion carries. Yes, ma'am. Nay.
Who first?
Mr. Haber, first.
Huh?
You made the motion.
Yes.
Okay.
Who's second?
Mr. Mr. Victor, second. 2 hand signals from the TV cameras. And the motion carries then with it being rezoned.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Our next issue is approval of the preliminary plat subdivision, proposed Stewart Landing subdivision, pursuant to subdivision regulations. That was the big set of plans and documentation that Ms. Ann delivered to us after the last meeting. And, staff or whoever like to make a presentation on it, we have a lot of comments from everybody.
Right, I don't have a presentation, Mr. Chairman, but thank you for allowing me to speak, and thank you to the Planning Commission members for your participation tonight. I think we have a couple of relatively new members. Mr. Garner and Ms. Wimberly are here. Thank you very much for agreeing to serve. The Planning Commission sometimes deal with controversial issues, sometimes with mundane issues, sometimes with policy making, sometimes with just administrative decisions. The question before the Commission tonight is a narrow administrative question. The zoning has already been approved. The question is whether or not American Land Holdings, which is the developer, has met certain technical requirements for preliminary plat approval under Newberry County's ordinances. Our planning staff, our contracted engineers, South Carolina Department of Transportation, Public Works of Newberry County, our stormwater management, our planning staff, our water and sewer authority and utility providers have all reviewed the preliminary plat. And the conclusion is that the proposed subdivision does in fact comply with the ordinance, which is the only question before the Commission tonight. We see no reason for the Commission not to approve this, and we certainly recommend approval. We have Cheryl Matheny here, who is our subdivisions expert. Cheryl, you want to get up and speak? Just to, yeah.
Well, I understand that we have a lot of new members, and in this particular case, it doesn't matter whether you're a new member or not, because really the Planning Commission hasn't really seen any subdivisions like this in your tenure, I don't think. So we thought it might be a good idea to just give a quick overview of how that works exactly. It's a complicated process and frankly hard to understand even for people like me who went to school and have been working for 30-some years. So we're going to do a brief summary. If you have any questions, we'll be glad to answer. Basically, the first thing that happens when somebody comes in is the applicant meets with staff to discuss the project and get some recommendations, and in this case, ask about any zoning changes that might need to happen for them to do their particular project the way they want to do it. After that, then the applicant submits a sketch plan to the staff for review, and that is per the requirements of the ordinance, and it's very specific about what they have to submit. The staff reviews that, and then they get back to the applicant about any changes that have to be made. The applicant makes those changes, and when they do, they begin the process of preliminary plat preparation. In this case, though, before they had to do that, they also had to get a zoning amendment, and that came before your body, and you approved it, and then it went before council and received final approval in July this year, well, last year. Excuse me. Once the staff changes are made, zoning was approved, then the applicant developed and submitted the preliminary plat. And that is the big document that you guys had. And that at that time, you were given that preliminary plat to review. And basically, what you were supposed to look at, just as Mr. Adams said, was, does this meet the requirements of our code? And that was distributed. At the same time, the plat was also distributed to a technical review committee. And that, as Mr. Adams noted, that included staff for roads, flood, and stormwater, but also included county health department, water and sewer providers, DHEC, and SCDOT. And they all got back to Ann with any changes they had. And the county also contracted with a engineering consultant to do a technical detailed review, and that was W.K. Dixon. And they got back to the staff and applicant with any changes they had that needed to be made. And most of those changes were very technical in nature. And so those were all met, I believe, right, Ann? So those were sent to the applicant. Those changes were made to the plat. And then now it's up before you for review and comment. And this particular meeting, you'll be voting to approve it or not. And as Mr. Adams said, it's really important to note that it's really either do they meet the requirements or do they not meet the requirements. If you determine they don't meet the requirements, you must be very specific about how you note that. You have to tell them what they didn't meet, and then the best way to do that would just be give them a chance to come back and meet those requirements. And then once preliminary plat approval is granted, then they can do infrastructure. They can do roads and grading, things like that. So once they have a preliminary plat approval, you guys won't see it again until final plat approval, and that'll be sometime down the road. And at that time, there's more complicated than that, but basically final plat gives them the ability to sell lots. So do you guys have any questions? It's a complicated process. There's a whole lot more to it than that, but that's in a nutshell how it goes. If at any time you want to ask any questions, there's plenty of expertise. I'm sure we could probably answer most of what you want to know.
Jay has been spraying his throat all day long.
So he wants to talk?
He wants to speak, sure.
Awesome.
Does Christina have a question? Is that what Ann means?
I didn't see, I wasn't looking at her camera, I was looking at her.
There's a hand up there.
Oh, no, that's my mouth.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
She raised her hand.
Okay.
Thank you, Planning Commission members. As you will recall, you went through the process to approve the zoning, the rezoning requests that they had. And what was behind that, they had 9 parcels that they wanted to rezone to a particular use so that they could, as part of their request, create what's known as a cluster development. That is not something that y'all are involved in. It's something that Ann staff handles if they meet the requirements. And for the portion of their whole tract of land now, they have met that. And so that's what basically you have before you is the plans for the cluster development, or I don't want to call them cottage homes because they told me not to do that. But it has been out, just so you understand the process. When they submitted the preliminary plan initially, we sent it out to the review group, the technical review group that Cheryl Matheny has referred to, asked for their comments back, and then sent those comments to Parker Development, who's the design group for Stewart Landing. And then they responded, made some changes or talked to people, and they made some changes, sent those back. We sent it again to the review committee, and they offered final comments. Ms. Hendricks noticed that in the final comments from W.K. Dixon, there were some things that remained at question, and those have now been resolved, I'm told, by both W.K. Dixon. This is Jeff Edding, who's from W.K. Dixon, and Sheldon is in the back, who's from Parker Development, as well as Dean Sinatra, who's representing the American Land Holdings. So it is basically, I hate to use this term, it's basically a slam dunk for you unless you have some concerns. That's why we made sure that we got you as much time as we could. For those of you who were here at the January meeting, we handed out the information. We did not have a quorum, so we couldn't do anything. We made sure, thanks to Bridget and Ann, that all the rest of the commission members got it that week to review. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have or to talk further about the process, but basically, excuse me, the reason it's on your agenda as approval is because it has met all the requirements of the subdivision ordinance itself, and if there's been any questions about that from any of the review committee, those issues have been resolved. We have other representatives here tonight. Brenna's from Water and Sewer.
Well, when I got delivered the set of plans to look at, I'm actually an engineer, I looked through them a little bit, but the next thing I did was make sure of all the people that had looked at it, technical expertise, third-party engineer, and I wanted to make sure Mr. Brent had, because he was in charge of the water and sewer, so if he wasn't happy, nobody'd be happy hardly with that. So, once I saw that, I was good to go and with my review and didn't have any other questions.
And just to follow up, Mr. Chairman, we asked, one of the things, I sent out a memo that was attached to the plans that you got, and then also went out to all the commissioners that were not able to get it that first night. And as part of that, we asked for any comments that any commissioner had to be forwarded to Ann. She was going to aggregate those and send those to the developer. And once the developer got all, we didn't want willy-nilly stuff going into the developer from 10 different planning commission members. And so once she got that, she sent it to Parker Development, and they responded. And we only had, to my recollection, I didn't receive it. I don't know what Ann is. We only had 2 comments come back. One was from Mr. Toronto, which had to do with a scale drawing, which I believe has been taken care of. And then the other one, which Ms. Hendricks spoke about, was a setback, which also has been taken care of. So there were no remaining issues, including the 2 that Planning Commission members cited.
Okay. Any other comments or any questions we have from anybody? This is going to be an interesting development, new for Newberry County, but this is kind of common elsewhere in the lower part of the state, the cluster type homes. But have any more discussion or comments, we'll entertain a motion to approve the subdivision.
Motion.
We have a motion first.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
2 hands on the screen? Nice. If that's, everybody appears to be unanimous on that, for it to be approved. And any nays? I didn't, but everybody was unanimous. All right, I think that took care of that part. But look forward to this moving forward on and seeing how it's going to turn out. And appreciate all the county's effort, because they had done a detailed review, which saved us a lot of effort. And third-party engineering firm looking at it to take care of any of their concerns in more detail. We appreciate all their efforts. Now we're up for discussion. Any informational items, update on county council items? Anything to update on that, Ms. Ann?
Yes, the rezoning of a 2.5 acre tract on Mount Pilgrim Church Road successfully completed at the last council meeting.
Okay.
I think that's it right now. There will be a third reading, hopefully, tomorrow after the public hearing for the rezoning of the property at 773 and Jolly Street Road.
Has it been much objection to that at the county council meetings? I was just wondering.
There's been some.
We had a little discussion during our rezoning, not very much, but
Yes.
I didn't know if it had proceeded or not.
I think Mr. Adams would be better able to express whether he
Nothing to
thinks
slow
it's
it down, but I didn't know if it was an organizing thing.
I understand there will be some people, tomorrow night, we expect some people to appear opposing it.
Okay.
I don't know how many.
I'll let council handle it. One way or the other. Training information, Miss Bridget's been hitting us with emails on that, and we all got to take care of that. I think you sent something out this week too, so as far as any additional training, trust I gotta do mine too. I've been trying to coordinate it with some of my other PE, but that hasn't been too successful. Any other items we need to discuss from staff, and I do appreciate county council allowing us to conduct the meeting this way. It's allowed us to proceed with the county's business without delay, and we appreciate county council and our ladies joining us tonight, and I appreciate it. Hopefully maybe next meeting we all get together and hold hands or something, but I don't know when that's gonna be. But If there's, our next regular meeting is to be held March 16th at 6 p.m.
Correction on that date.
Yeah, it's got 2021 on that, but that's right, but 2021, but if there's, not any other discussion we need, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second? All in favor?
Alright.
And thanks everybody for coming, and, look forward to next meeting. Thank y'all. We adjourn. You'll be-